Hi guys, I'm depriving myself of the no. This is where you evenly matched. Nice that our coach is actually high level. Taking stealth. Alright, so we're gonna go study Quizlet. Watch this. Government is the institutions where policy is made for society. All goods and services by its nature what all goods and services like clean air and clean water by its nature cannot be taken. Rights are rights that cannot be taken away or something like that. Cannot be denied to anyone. Same thing. Process by which people try to select their leaders and the policies they pursue. Also determining leaders we select. Yeah, the same thing. Politics produce authoritative decisions. Not government. Political participation is all activities citizens can do to attempt to influence who their leaders are and what policies they pursue. So political leaders and policies they pursue. Single issue groups are narrowly interest groups that have an uncompromising stance. Yep. Policy making system is how policy comes to be and evolve. People's concerns, issues, and problems are turned into political issues in the government, and the government makes policies which in turn affect the people and create more problems, issues, and concerns. We want to create policy for the government. Policy making these issues shape policy. Shapes policy. Okay. Let me see. Linkage institutes are the channels in which people's issues, concerns, and problems are turned into political issues for policymakers. Such as political parties, interest groups, elections, and social media. Political channels through which people concerned become political on policy agenda. Alright. Policy agenda is when an issue gains a political issue gains enough a serious amount of attention from policymakers and people involved in politics at the time. Political issue is an issue that is an issue that no one can agree, that people disagree about. Political issue is when people disagree about a problem and how to fix it. Yeah. Policy making institutions are the three branches of government that are in charge of acting on political issues. They're the president, the Congress, the courts, and the Federal Bureau. Public policy are the decisions made by the government in response to political issues. Policy impacts are the effect policies have on the problem and people. The impacts are analyzed to see how well the policy met its goal and at what cost. Democracy is the system of selecting. Democracy is the system of selecting policymakers and public officials and organization of government, such that the policy is representative and responds to public preferences. Yeah, that's what I thought. Majority rule is a fundamental principle of traditional democratic theory. That is, when there is alternatives, the desire of the majority must be respected. Minority rights. This is a principle. This is a principle of traditional democratic theory that guarantees rights to those who are not in a majority. Yep. Representation is a basic principle of traditional democratic theory that describes the relationship between the few leaders, and the many followers. Yep. Pluralism is a theory in American democracy that emphasizes what again? Well, emphasizes that the policy-making system is very open to participation of shared interest groups, such that one group does not dominate over another, and it is generally believed that public interest prevails. Holy moly, I'm like cooking. Elitism is a theory in American democracy that contends to the idea that only a small group of high-class elites have power and create policy disregarding or not, no matter how they have the power and make policy despite how the government is formally organized. That an upper class elite holds the power and policy and makes policy regardless of the form. Yeah. Hyperpluralism is a theory in American democracy that contending that groups have so much power in the government. Groups have so much power, and the government has to listen to them, which basically makes the government weaker. Yeah. Policy gridlock is a condition that occurs when there is a problem and not one coalition is strong enough to make a majority, so thereby nothing gets done. Political culture is the overall sets of values that is widely shared among a society. Oh my god. GDP, gross domestic product, is the total sum of all goods and services produced in a year in a nation.